Okay, so we are officially, excuse me for a second, we are officially live. Um, anyway, so the number of crashes in the Daytona 500 went down, which is a good thing. Um, but on the other hand, you can obviously see that they are looking at the possibility. They're looking at the possibility of this possibly being the fewest number of cars involved in incidents during the race since 2016. So let's talk about the moment that we've all been waiting for, and that's the horrible broadcast of Fox. Yes, I did say that the broadcast was not very good. I can tell you that it was not very good. Um, you can obviously see that it wasn't that great due to, well, Fox hasn't been relevant in NASCAR in years, but it was just unbelievably bad. I mean, come on. I mean, you can obviously tell that it was bad. I mean, really bad. But you can obviously tell too, it was just a number of things. And I think a lot of it has to do with the production staff. When NASCAR first started, which is around 2001, um, that was the permanent solution. Was NASCAR starting around 2001. When they were first on, they were great. But I think over time, as people left, I know one thing I hate to say, and I hate to say this, but there are NASCAR drivers that just have the personality of sandpaper. And you can obviously tell that in the booth. I mean, you can tell it with Clint Boyer. Clint Boyer is pretty funny. Tony Stewart, he was okay. Um, Now for Auto Club, they're gonna have Matt Kenseth in, which I can find kind of nice, but I don't know if he's gonna be a good reporter or not. Um, anyway, let's get into the other stuff. So NASCAR president discussed the Dex TV deal. Well, I think one way this could go in with Fox is what they do with Thursday Night Football, and that's stream it on Prime Video. It would be a great move for NASCAR because of the amount of people that have Amazon Prime, first of all, and the amount of people that would probably tune in just to watch the race. And that's something NASCAR needs to discuss is, do we put this on a paid streaming platform? Which they obviously would say, okay, we put this on a live streaming platform and we're going to do this for the right way. So as you can tell, that would be the best way to go as far as NASCAR broadcast. Now, as far as NBC goes, I don't think I see them in the next TV deal, but it's a possibility. Now, there could be some races and qualifying and practices that go to Peacock. I know NASCAR fans are going to be upset that they have to pay for a paid streaming service, but the other thing NASCAR could do is they could make their own streaming platform. And I've heard several people talk about it. And that's RaceView, which for some reason they took away, which I don't get. They took that away. So that could be a possibility. You also could have a network just dedicated NASCAR. The streaming service could have old races on like they do on YouTube right now. They could show like NASCAR documentaries. They could show all kinds of different things. And I think that would be the smart move for NASCAR as far as making their own streaming service. That would be the smarter move. But as far as the racing goes, I think they should do what NFL did with Thursday Night Football, and that's also stream on Prime Video. Especially with the Fox broadcast being so dull. It's very boring. You can tell how boring it is. I mean, it's like there's just no energy. I mean, the only person who really has energy is Larry Mack. And as much as I hate to say it, it was horrible. Now we got to get into some RFK, and this was basically a safety thing, so NASCAR did not penalize them. And yes, you can see I'm wearing a Dale Earnhardt hat. So the TV ratings for NASCAR ranked them on the highest and most watched edition of the race since 2019, with 8.8 million viewers across all platforms. That includes Fox and streaming or whatever. And average of 4.7 rating, 8.87 million viewers. So that's a pretty good ratio. And this beat out, get this was pretty, for the first time in 8 years, NASCAR beat out the NBA All-Star game. Yes, I said that correctly. NASCAR beat out the NBA All-Star game. They beat out the closing ceremonies for the Olympics. So these people are saying NASCAR is dying. I don't think so. I think NASCAR is going back up. And NASCAR also needs to get with the times. They need to maybe make their own streaming service or maybe partner with like Hulu or Disney Plus or whatever to get some of the races across. So as far as sponsorships and other things go, Rita Refined Foods signed a multi-year extension with Joe Gibbs Racing. So we are looking at 36 cars for the Auto Club race, which is understandable. And it's the only 36 chartered teams that are in, and they're all going to qualify. Also, Frontline is partnering with Todd Gilliland, so they continue their partnership. Sorry about the shaking. Anyway. So Pala Casino Spa Resort partners with Live Fast Motorsports. So this is a neat. NASCAR announced today a broadcast coverage for a slate of grassroots races on a USA network, which is kind of cool. I kind of like that idea. So you got Garrett Smithley, who would drive the number 15 for multiple races throughout the season. I was getting into some Xfinity. So, a couple of notes. So, Ryan Truex will run 4 races for Joe Gibbs Racing. Also, the number 52 of Kyle Weatherman has withdrawn of the number 52 car. So, that's of note. We're down to 41 entries, I believe. The 90 is also withdrawn. I forget who else. I believe the 53 is withdrawn also. So that brings us only down to 41 entries for 38 spots. USLO partners with Landon Castle, which is a form of electronic payment solutions provider during the. Okay. Arrowhead Bass also sponsored Jeb Burton at Auto Club. So during the Xfinity race, there was a really scary accident as Myatt Snyder flew into the catch fence. I mean, the car just practically disintegrated. Engine, suspension, all that was gone. And thankfully, he survived. Now, if there's one thing, and it's Dale Earnhardt, his tragic accident over 22 years ago, he's helped save several NASCAR drivers' lives. That's one thing. And these cars are so safe nowadays that a driver can walk away from a scary accident like that. We saw it with the car of tomorrow also with Michael McDowell. So for even Austin Dillon back in 2015, when he had that scary accident, he managed to walk away. So it's been the journey of a lifetime. Watching these drivers and getting these really bad accidents and they just walk away. So, popular game, PUBG Mobile, was sponsored Josh Berry, and Tahoe Blue Vodka joins Timmy Hill. So, on a more positive note, Austin Hill won in his first start with RCR, won at Daytona, and that is incredible that he did that. So, anyway, get into the nitty gritty, and that's the partnership agreement. Now, as far as the NASCAR Xfinity and NASCAR, I think NASCAR should go that route. Make their own streaming service. I know a lot of NASCAR fans don't want to be behind a paywall. Well, I think it's the best way to go. because a lot of people are ditching cable, and they're called cord cutters. Now, me, on the other hand, I do like cable, but I'm not a big fan of it because you're paying all that money when you can get all these streaming services like $7, $8 a month. So, what's the point of having cable anymore? That's the thing. That's the next thing NASCAR needs to think about during this TV deal. Do we go and say, okay, we need to make our own streaming service? We need to maybe partner with someone like Prime Video. Now, that's the thing. NASCAR needs to learn this, and NASCAR needs to get with the times. So you got all kinds of streaming services out there. Peacock, Disney Plus. You got all those. Now, so Kyle Busch, probably within the last 4 or 5 years, has been the best at Auto Club. He got his 200th win there. He won their last 2 years. Well, 3 years it's been. They haven't been there in 2 years. So anyway, and the other thing we need to discuss is the sold out crowd for the Daytona 500. 150,000 people in the stands. The race was completely sold out. And that right there shows an uptick in NASCAR popularity. And I know a lot of you boomers are saying, oh, it's because Bubba Wallace. NASCAR right now is trying to go to a younger audience. And it showed in the Daytona 500. So anyway, you got that. You got the deal of a lifetime. Anyway, one of the things I want to do one of these days is attend the Daytona 500. I've never been to Florida. I've never been on a plane. And I don't ever want to go on a plane because I'm afraid of heights. So more likely I'd probably drive down to Florida. But anyway, getting back to the nitty-gritty. Sorry about off topics. But I do want to attend a NASCAR race this year. And I'm thinking about Road America. Because it is Wisconsin. It would be the first NASCAR race I ever went to. Now, keep in mind, I'm 30 years old. I've never been to a NASCAR race before. And I've been watching NASCAR for about almost 3 decades. I started watching around 1994, maybe 95. The first race I ever remember watching was in 1995, which is the Daytona 500. And I remember seeing the 98 RCR car of Jeremy Mayfield. Yes, I did say Jeremy Mayfield. He was my favorite driver for a long time. And then the whole debacle with him went down and everything else. That all went sour. And then I started liking Matt Kenseth. Now, my current favorite driver is Ryan Blaney. I mostly like drivers that have personalities. And Mayfield was one of them. So was Matt Kenseth. I mean, Kenseth had a personality, but he kind of raced like David Pearson. Yes, I know a lot of you new NASCAR fans don't know who David Pearson is. Probably don't even remember Matt Kenseth. But Matt Kenseth is a future Hall of Famer. He's got 2 Daytona 500s. He's a Winston Cup champion. Well, Cup Series champion now. Other than that, a dismal 2020 season, he was pretty incredible. And that was Probably the worst season he's had in his career. Now, there are rumors and rumors about Kyle Busch retiring. I don't think he will. But I think there's going to be a new sponsor on the 18, which is kind of bad. Now, one thing I didn't want to put this clip in here, but Dalton Good actually went on the Fox Sports broadcast. Yes, I did say that. He's a huge Kyle Busch fan, by the way. I do like Kyle Busch. I like the whole Candyman persona, the whole rowdy thing. Now, my favorite NASCAR movie of all time is Days of Thunder. And that's where Kyle Busch got that nickname, was from Days of Thunder, Rowdy, which is Rowdy Burns. So the whole persona of that, he even named his energy drink after his nickname, which is Rowdy. So, and the Rowdy energy drinks are not bad, and I can say that because I've had them. But you can obviously tell that they're in the people think, oh, you're more of a boomer. I'm not. Even though I've been watching NASCAR for 3 decades, I'm not considered that. I mean, some of my rants probably, but other than that, no. So Andrew Wentworth, which will be the Grand Marshal of the Wise Power 400 at Auto Club. That'll be kind of cool. Then we got the tequila car again. This time with like a black and gold paint scheme, which just kind of looks cool. Kind of reminds me of the Jack Daniels car that Dave Blaney drove in the early 2000s and Clint Boyer. Yes, I did say Dave Blaney. Dave Blaney drove for RCR. Didn't have some of his best runs though, that's for sure. But he did drive for RCR. And then after that, Casey Mears drove it. And he sucked in it. Then came Clint Boyer. Clint Boyer had success with it. Had success with it. Now the other thing, and this is a rookie, won the Daytona 500. Yes, Austin Cindric won the Daytona 500 as a rookie. And just his 8th career start, he won. Now, it kind of sucks for Brad Keselowski seeing his old ride win the Daytona 500. So now that all three, the 12, the 22, and the 2, have all won Daytona 500s. And it is the first time that the number 2 car has been in victory lane for the Daytona 500. Because Rusty Wallace couldn't win in it, Brad Keselowski couldn't win in it. So it's the first time that it's actually been in victory lane at Daytona 500. And considering it was a rookie, which is kind of weird, but it's not the first time that a rookie has won. Yes, Trevor Bayne was not considered a rookie, but he did win his 2nd career start. So, and that was more of a one-hit wonder, but Austin Cindric, I don't think is going to be a one-hit wonder. He's a very talented driver. He knows his way around. I mean, he's good on road courses. He proved he's a good super speedway racer. He can win on intermediate tracks. So Austin Cindric is a cup star in the making. Now, as far as road courses goes, I think he can give Chase Elliott a run for his money. Because he did do some Trans Am races and race on road courses. So, And he showed last year that he's very competitive, and it was a surprise that he won. But you gotta, and last year was weird, but this year it was, I fell asleep for the last, I think, 14, 15 laps, so I didn't see the end. But I did watch it on YouTube, so that does count. Now, anyway, what I'm saying is people are thinking, oh, a rookie? Yes, Austin Cindric won the first next gen points band race, and he will always have that honor. So, anyway, what I'm saying is you can tell that at the Daytona 500 was a good race. Got 10 stage points. So, anyway, now a lot of fans don't agree that this is the that the actual that the actual car numbers should have been moved forward, but there's been a lot of sponsors that have included it and made the sponsor font bigger. So anyway, we're gonna end that here. Sign it off.